I hit 5'2" and I wasn't going to go pro. And so tech had to be the next realm, but I'm hoping
Nice.
golf, there's a bit of a shot there.
Welcome everybody into another episode of the Fairways to Fortune podcast, where we talk about how people have used golf to find success in life and in their careers. I'm your host, Joe Canfield, and I'm sitting down here with Tami McQueen, who's the CMO of BIP Capital. And Tami, I want to welcome you to the show, and I'm super excited to have this conversation.
Thanks so much, Joe. It is such a pleasure to join you. I even wore the green jacket. It's the only way I'm going to get a green jacket. So I cannot wait to have a conversation with you and chat all about it.
That's awesome. It's not like the Stanley Cup where you can't touch it and you're not going to win it. The green jacket, you can wear one and there's still a chance, I think. Yeah. So anyway, This is probably one of the most random connections that has ever happened to me in my life right here. And I want to get into the story of how this episode came to be, because I think it's really funny. It just kind of shows how small the world is and how small the golf world can possibly be. But you have an incredible story with how you got started into the game of golf, which we're going to get into. But I want to hear your background a little bit. You were a Division I athlete, CMO of a capital firm, and doing some incredible stuff on that end. So let's talk about that a little bit, and then we'll get into the golf side.
Absolutely. So background is as a tennis player. So born and raised in Johannesburg, South Africa, moved to the US to play tennis at a small Division I school, and had the opportunity to play the game, win our conference multiple years in a row, and really just immerse myself into the sports world, which is very different in the US compared to anywhere else in the world. And the facility, the training, the impact that sports has in the US is remarkable. And from that, fast forward many years into my career, I've been in tech for the most part of it, mostly in the startup realm. And now sitting on the other side of the table in a private capital world where we have two evergreen funds, both in the private equity and the private credit side, as well as your traditional venture capital funds. So that's sort of in a nutshell, if you will, my background and what I do.
That's very cool. Having grown up here in the U.S. and my wife was a Division I soccer player. She played at the University of Utah, and then I played club college soccer, got recruited to play college baseball, but whole nother story there. But it's always been fascinating to me that tennis leans so international, and golf is the same way in college in the US too. I think I read the other day that it's like 60% of D1 tennis players are international students, which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, I believe that. And I think tennis and golf go hand in hand. Both in tennis and golf, South Africa has an incredible feeder program into the US colleges and universities program. And having been fortunate to be part of that and had several other athletes from South Africa during my tenure, has been an incredible experience. And I do recommend it to any athletes that are international. There is no better programming in the world than the programming you get from US training at universities.
Yeah, my wife went on to play semi-professional soccer after college, and she's like, we went from chartered flights everywhere and nice hotel rooms to riding basically the Greyhound and staying in the Motel 6, and like the level of care and things was crazy. So
that's unreal. Yeah, I hit 5'2" and I wasn't going to go pro, and so tech had to be the next realm. But I'm hoping golf, there's a bit of a shot there.
That's awesome. Well, I've got the small frame too, and golf is great for that. So let's get into a little bit how you got into the game. I know we got connected through this super random Wall Street Journal article, which is so funny. I hired a marketing agency. They're called Wedge Golf. We've had all of their guys on the show beforehand, and it was literally like a week before this whole thing happened. I was sitting down with them, and I'm like, look, I'm getting old. I don't understand social media anymore. I saw this article from the Wall Street Journal get posted, and I sent it to him. I was like, hey, how do we use this? Like, I posted it to LinkedIn, and like, it got okay, whatever. And they said, record a green screen reaction video to it and put it on Instagram. I'm like, okay, whatever. I had like 100 followers. And it's funny, I was looking at my Slack conversation with them earlier today, and I sent them a screenshot when it had like 5,000 views. And I was like, hey, this is pretty good. But it went viral. It's still going viral. I see people looking at it all the time, which is so funny. And if you want to check out the video, it's on my Instagram page, just at Fairways RM. But tell me a little bit about the article and how this all kind of came to be, and your take on the whole thing.
Oh, it's so great. And what a bizarre connection to lead us to where we are today. I picked up golf seriously in February of this year, 2024, and really wanted to dive into it. It was not one of these, okay, social, let me go out with the girls for a cup of tea or champagne and maybe play around. I was serious about this. I reached out to several different coaches and I said, listen, I need a high intensity training coach. Listen, we're going for the LPGA Tour card next year, so this is the level of training I'm looking for. So they knew I'm in business. Found a coach that I'm a big fan of, and he truly got me onto my first round at the PGA National just a week after the tour event, and talk about choosing a rough course.
Yeah.
For the first 18. And I had posted about this journey on LinkedIn and how I had come from a world of tennis, but high intense training and the principles and the focus and commitment to doing so. So the discipline around this was already deep rooted, and I was looking to translate that into golf, fully aware that it is the most humbling sport on this planet. Yeah. And I shared this on LinkedIn. Look, it's taking me out of my comfort zone. I'm always learning. I'm humbled not only from a physical but mental capacity as well, and shared this journey. And so many people responded with, hey, good luck. These are the courses I love playing. And we're just so inviting into this incredible community. A couple months later, I got a random message on LinkedIn from the reporter from the Wall Street Journal to say he had stumbled across my post and he was writing an article about how golf and people's careers have really intertwined over the past several years. Asked if I'd be open to a conversation. Of course, I would be open to a conversation about this, and shared my journey of getting started and where I am and what I'm looking to accomplish from it, and how we leverage golf and that within BIP Capital, not only from a professional standpoint, but mixing with colleagues and really taking it outside the workplace. So got on a call with him, and it was such a wonderful conversation. Of course, he asked for my handicap and where I stand. This is maybe 4-5 months after I picked up golf really seriously. And it was fantastic. And it truly was a massive article in the Wall Street Journal, and it landed in the print version as well the Monday following, which was fantastic. And this was right around the US Open weekend, which timing couldn't have been better. And that's really where it came from. Probably a week later, so many people started sending me your reel about this. I'm like, oh no, I don't know what is in there. Is this negative or positive, or what is going to come from this? So it was so fun to see, and I commented on it. And I was like, hey, I'm the girl in the article with the atrocious handicap.
I saw your comment on it and I was like, no way that happened. And then I reached out, and I've used LinkedIn as a networking tool for a really, really long time, like 10 plus years. Like I've been on there and I've had great success with that. And I've never thought about Instagram as a networking tool.
Oh my gosh, seriously, right?
Which is so crazy. And from that, not only has this connection happened, I had a conversation the other day with, he's a former PGA Tour caddy, and he was at Bandon Dunes doing resort caddying and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, hey, I'm looking for my next job. Like, how do I leverage my caddying experience into a job? And I'm like, dude, you have seen all of the poor behaviors that people display on golf course. You've seen it all. Yeah. you know exactly how to carry yourself. And I'm like, what industry do you want to work in? And he kind of told me, and I said, okay, find a recruiter or find someone who's hiring in that job and invite them to go play a round of golf with you.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you
that's
can go show them who you are
yeah.
rather
That is
than
awesome.
sending them a resume and hoping to get into a boardroom with them.
No chance.
No
Yeah.
chance, right? So tell me a little bit about how I love your journey into it. I'm a super competitive person too. I played team sports all growing up. I played golf my whole life. I never played competitive golf till in college. And I absolutely fell in love with it. Tournament
Yeah.
golf is just another realm. But tell me a little bit about how you are using it for business and to create those connections. I know the article mentioned a little bit about, being able to network with your colleagues closer and build those better relationships. How has that worked for you, and what benefits are you seeing from it?
It has been such a great way to connect with colleagues that are in different departments, to spend their time outside the office that you don't necessarily get. We're fortunate. We're in the office. So we have those water cooler conversations.
Mhm.
It's not that we're remote and once you hang up the Zoom, you're done. So I love the opportunity to be in the office, but I wouldn't have known so many of these other people play golf without having that conversation in the office. And so I have gotten out on the course a few times with some of colleagues that are in different departments and have learned so much about them. You can learn so much about a person on a golf course, you know this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just such great camaraderie. Golf, I've learned, is such a fantastic way that all skills can play within the same round. And I think if you think about someone who has a really, really high handicap versus someone who has a low handicap, if you're not great, if you know when to pick up and keep going and just have a good time, like you can have a really, really good time with no matter what your skill level is. If you're respectful of the other players, you know how to have a good time, you know the etiquette around it, you can have a great time. And I think that's what I've learned so much. I was so scared to get out on a course with people that are significantly better than me, and I'm a rookie really, and they are so welcoming and so encouraging. It's unlike another sport. For example, tennis, you put a semi-pro on one side and a real beginner on the other side, you're going to have a terrible afternoon.
Yep.
I can promise you. And it's most like that in most sports, but you do that in golf, it's a true testament that you're doing this by yourself.
Yeah, I teach, and I love it when a tennis player comes in, because not only the mechanics translate really, really well, but I always have to explain to them, look, like no one's trying to hit the ball past you, because they want to like hurry up and get the club back down. And I'm sure you've probably experienced this.
I do that. Let me just joke. If I'm at the range, one of the biggest things I've had to learn is, listen, you don't need to go through this entire bucket of balls in a certain number of times. Because as a tennis player, I sit there with a ball machine. I'm just like whacking balls or hitting just backhands over and over. And I started doing that with golf, where I was just, I'm going to hit 100 balls right here in the next 30 minutes. And the coach is like, whoa.
Hold on
a minute. This is not how it works. You're not going to get better that way. And that was such a mind shift for me.
Yeah.
So totally get
it. I did tennis camps growing up. I played my freshman year in high school, and it totally is. It's like that's so like such a hard change for people.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah.
You're so fast paced, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is just me. I'm just out here enjoying myself. Like,
yep. Absolutely. Yep.
You touched on etiquette there. What was maybe one of the hardest things for you to pick up etiquette wise getting into golf? You played tennis, obviously, and there's some etiquette there. It's kind of a country club sport, but golf's a little bit different. There's a lot of really kind of goofy unwritten rules.
Yeah, I think especially playing on different tee boxes. So knowing when to walk to your tee box or when to take the cart to the tee box when someone's teeing off, or that was a big one. I had to learn that. And then also on the green. So when do I put down a marker? When do I pick it up? If I put it down and it's in the line of the ball, how do I play around that? So those were small things that I think you can really see a beginner when they just don't know those little things. So that's something I've had to learn along the way, but I want to be so immersed in the game. I've tried to learn everything along the way. I ask a lot of questions, and it's also just being vulnerable with not knowing everything. From a tennis perspective, it's really hard. I'm hard on myself because I get out there and I can hit a tennis ball and think, great, no problem. I get back into that muscle memory easy. Golf, wow, this is a beast.
It's a tough game. And one of my favorite things to do, and one of the things I tell people when they're first getting into the game, I'm like, get up early in the morning and turn on the PGA Tour event or whatever Tour event is on, and watch the people that are in the early wave. Watch the pros that aren't in contention and they hit bad shots. They struggle. They're 3-putting, they're 4-putting. One of the craziest stats on the PGA Tour is that 3 putts are actually more common than a 1 putt.
Wow.
And
I believe that.
When you shift your brain to go from, okay, I'm watching all these people play this game perfectly, as perfect can be, to, okay, this is such a struggle. And when I've been teaching people, I've seen this so much more, and like just trying to get them to not be so frustrated with it is such a thing. Do you have any strategies or anything that help you with that as you're kind of going through it? Like, how do I, maybe calm myself down a little bit and understand, like, okay, I shouldn't expect to be perfect.
I'm no pro at this, I'll tell you that much, because I really do get frustrated at myself. One of the things is, hey, I have a full-time job. This is not my day job. I'm not getting paid to do this. And if I was practicing every single day, it would be a very different situation. And so that really gives me solace in where I am, in that, listen, if I did practice 8 hours every day, I'd be in a very different situation right now. And so I think that's one thing. And then also, hey, I'm outside, the blue skies, it's beautiful outside. Probably have something else. It takes my attention away from the day to day. So sometimes just remembering that is a good one.
That's awesome. It also helps when you get somebody out of the office to get in that same environment with them as well. Have you, how often have you noticed the shift of how somebody maybe acts in the office versus how they act on the golf course? And then once you've had them on the golf course, do you notice those behaviors afterwards in the office?
We have an incredible team. We have a team of humble type A's who are true A players, and they are remarkable people. So I have not seen a massive shift with people that I've played with, which is great testament to them. I haven't been out with too many others outside the office, so maybe I'll have a better update as I get playing more.
Yeah, it's funny. I read a study, and it's kind of dated now, but it was a survey of Fortune 500 CEOs. And one of the questions on it was, do you believe that the way somebody carries themselves on a golf course translates to how they carry themselves in business?
Yeah.
And I think it was 64% of them said yes. And
oh my gosh, really?
I'm like, I think the other 36% just didn't want to admit that their bad behavior on the golf course was costing them deals.
I bet.
Which is really, it's a funny thing.
Oh my gosh.
So Tami, do you guys, have you played in any golf tournaments or like scramble events or anything business wise yet? I know you're super new to the game, but is that something that you're looking to get into?
Not yet, but I'm so keen to get out there and do that. That is definitely a goal for me. And I know you do so much around that, and I'm really keen. I've been following you now since we connected, and love what you're doing from both the sponsorship and brand connectivity. So that has really inspired me to do more on the scramble tournament side. I don't think I'm ready just yet, personally confident so, but I'd love to get out there in the fall to do something like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, businesses.
And if anyone would like to invite me to do that, I'm game.
That's it. You need to come out. You're going to be a good time and have fun playing.
It'll be, I promise you, it'll be a great time.
Yeah. I'm all for that. I tell people, they're like, I'm not good. I don't know if I should come play with you. And I'm like, you know what? As long as you're fun to be with and keep the game moving along, I don't care.
Amen.
I sponsored this event yesterday. It was a group of accountants, and I sponsored the morning golf. And so I got to go out and play with one of the groups. And all the guys on the tee box were like, they'd never met me before. And so they're like, I'm an accountant. And I'm like, I'm a golf coach. I have a creative background. I know nothing about accounting. Besides the
That's
one class I
awesome.
took
I
during my
love it.
MBA.
Yeah.
And we had the best time, and we just played a 4-man scramble around the course. And
Oh,
it was so much
epic.
fun for them because
Yeah,
they were able to contribute. And they like, I'd hit a bad shot off into the bushes or whatever. And they're
totally.
like, sweet, I get to beat the pro this time. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
take me through how you found your pro and kind of that process that you went through, because I think that's one of the intimidating things for people is like, where do I actually start and how do I find someone willing to work with me from scratch?
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I went onto every single website of top golf professionals in the Atlanta region, and I emailed every single one of them. Not one of them responded. And I was really disappointed by this from country clubs that are really well known in the region. I mean, I looked these coaches up. I knew what their credentials were, what they were rated, everything, mentioned that in the email, and it was really challenging. And then I made the decision to join In Town Golf Club, which is an indoor facility in Atlanta that is backed by several different tech investors in the region, and reached out to them, joined the club, went through the membership process, and one of their professionals was just perfectly suited. He's great. He plays, and he was amazing. I credit my entire game to getting from zero to on PGA National within 4 lessons.
That's incredible. And he made that connection to get you on PGA National.
I made that connection by joining In Town Golf Club.
In Town Golf Club got you on. Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah.
I love the aspect of a private club, and there's this weird, with the explosion of golf, you have these people that have enjoyed, like me, the public courses for so long. We're fortunate out here in Utah that we have incredible public golf.
That's awesome.
But it's getting so busy that it's like, okay, now it might be time to buy a country club membership so I know I can get out and play.
Oh my gosh.
What has the benefit of the networking been being part of a club besides finding your pro? And by the way, I'm super disappointed that none of them got back to you, because that's
maybe
not,
lining up when we're on the tour. I'm kidding. It's been phenomenal. It is such a great location where it is both co-working space. You can have meetings there, and you can also get on phenomenal TrackMan bays. They are state of the art, love the facility. And so it's been so great. People that I know, new people, a lot of networking, specifically in the world that I'm in. And it's a great community. I've loved it. We've hosted an event for BIP Capital at their location in Charlotte, and have just found such community around it.
And that's called In Town Golf Club.
Yeah.
I don't think they've made it out west yet.
Atlanta, Charlotte, and Columbus, Ohio.
Very cool. That's such a cool model. The facility I teach out is a TrackMan facility, and we have a membership model, and we're trying to figure out how do we make this more beneficial to members. And so hearing that story is very cool.
Right. And when you come to Atlanta, we'll go.
Yes, I would love to. And yes, I'm in. I've been to Atlanta probably, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 times, but I've never left the airport.
Okay, that's a story I hear often.
Delta out of Salt Lake to Atlanta and then somewhere else. So anyway, Tami, if you had to give advice to any other people that are getting into golf and beginning golf, what are maybe the top 3 things that you would tell them?
I would say get fitted for the right clubs. That is absolutely critical. They don't have to be state of the art, but make sure they fit you and your frame. That's really important. You'll feel a lot more comfortable, and you'll have a lot more of confidence approaching the ball. Number 2, have a lot of fun. This is not your full-time job. You can be just so lucky and happy that you're outside in the sunshine, and getting to learn something new. And for the 3rd is be a good sport. Have fun out there, and know that the way that you are on the course is influencing everyone else's game. So make sure you're a good time and just have fun out there. So that's really, I think, some 3 basic, no rocket science feedback for anyone
Yes.
who's getting started.
I love that, especially the last piece, be a good time. I love to bring snacks out. Like if I go play in a tournament, I'll bring a cooler full of, don't tell the pros this, they don't like me when you bring a cooler on the course, but I'll bring Gatorades, we'll throw Uncrustables, sandwiches in there and
Oh, I love
snacks and
it.
stuff. And I just asked a friend, I was like, hey, I got a tea time Saturday, can you make it? And he just said, will there be snacks? I go, have you played golf with me before? Of course there'll be snacks.
Love it.
That's awesome. What are some of those things that you have found work really well for you to help everybody else enjoy their day?
Hey, you know what? If I hit a bad shot or I'm completely a couple strokes behind, I'm going to pick up and play from where they are. I help people find their ball. I mean, that is just one way that you can be a great teammate. Help people find their ball.
Yeah.
And also, I think, cheer people on, give them some confidence. They hit a good shot. Let them know that you're impressed. I'm impressed by a lot of shots I see out there. And so let them know. It's great. It's such a good confidence boost. And I think it makes you a good sport. Golf will teach you. If you're not already a good sport, it'll force you to be a good sport, or else you're a grump and no one's going to invite you back.
Yeah, I like that. I love watching. I don't know if you've watched any of the Full Swing stuff on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Or gotten into the PGA Tour at all, but I love the way that the PGA Tour players treat each other off of the course.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Yeah, I think it's so important. It's such a game of respect. And I think just being true to yourself and having respect for others is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. And when you told me that none of the pros got back to you, I was like, but customer service is like one of the staple tenets of golf. You walk into a pro shop, they're supposed to know you by name. And I feel like we've lost some of that in golf, and I'd love to see some of it come back.
Yeah.
Have you had any really good experiences? Like PGA National, obviously super high end club. Talk to me about like the feeling you had when you went into that pro shop there, and like the environment that they created for you.
Oh, it's beautiful. I think that the way that you are brought into the community and not asked, look, I know some clubs don't have all handicaps allowed on their course to play, and I respect that. I think they were just so thrilled to have someone out there. Of course, I'm the one bouncing around saying, hey, it's my first round. So it's fantastic. They were wonderful. They're lovely. Of course, I got a shirt from there, and I had a good time. They're super helpful. We had the caddies with us, and that was a lot of fun too. That was entirely new environment for me, and everyone was just very inclusive.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the feeling you get when you walk into a good pro shop, or you're at a fancy club.
Oh, gorgeous!
Fancy club, and the pros, hey, how are you? They're happy to have you there. Yeah, they're happy to see you.
Yeah, I love it. The towels and the cooler, everything's fantastic. Speaking of, I need to send you a sleeve of the BIP Capital
Oh, I love that.
Pro V1X golf balls. So
I'll
send you some.
Well, here's a question for you now. When you were ordering golf balls, and this is something I ask whenever I go to trade shows, what was the conversation like when you said, I want to get Pro V1s rather than the cheaper golf ball?
Oh, it wasn't a conversation. This is what we had to get. Listen, you got the marketing girly and you've got a golfer. You're going to get the best.
There you go. Yes, I like the impression that it sends when you walk up to a booth at a trade show and they hand out the good stuff, right? Not just like, hey, here's something with our logo. Good luck. Have fun.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Tami, this has been awesome. I want to wrap up here and be respectful of your time. And I know you're extremely busy. The last question I want to ask you is, how do you find time to get out and play golf? Because it sounds like you're the member in town, and so you can kind of go over and hit some balls, but it's time consuming. It's hard to find the time to practice, especially with your aspirations to be on the LPGA. So how are you finding the time to get out and play?
Oh gosh, Joe, it's such a good question. I think so many people think about this, and I don't have that much time, quite frankly. Thankfully, for the longer days in the summer months, able to get out to a range after after work while it's still light outside, or play a quick nine as well. I'm very fortunate. My partner is a phenomenal golfer, and so we spend weekends. We'll play a couple holes or a bit of the range, and so that's really helpful. I don't have children, and so that in and of itself allows me to have free time that others don't. And I know that is really challenging to do. And people come back to the game, the little ones come up and they come back to the game later on in life. And that's what I think is so special about golf. You can do that. So fortunately, I have that time to spend on the golf course on the weekends. I don't typically spend hours and hours. But I do enjoy getting out there and trying to make the time when I can on the weekends. And I've never taken a day off to play golf. So hopefully down the road we can get there.
You're turning it into work, so it's not really a day off. You don't got to take hours. It's working while you're out there.
There we go. I love the way you think.
Yeah, there we go. And you were right. It is tough. I have 3 little kids, and it is my 7-year-old's finally like, I want to go play golf with you. He asked me the other day, I was like, I want to go golf with you and Grandpa. I'm like, all right, sweet, let's go.
I love that.
Tami, this has been awesome. Where can people find out more about BIP Capital and find you and maybe learn a little bit more about your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So LinkedIn is the best way to connect with me. And it is a great way to learn more about the private markets as well. I'm happy to be a resource in any capacity, whether it's tennis, private markets, getting started in golf, and I'd be happy to chat to you. LinkedIn is just Tami McQueen, and happy to connect there as well.
This is awesome. Well, I hope to be able to get out to Atlanta sometime soon and join you for a round, because it'd be a ton of fun, and I really appreciate the time.
I could use some tips too, Jet. So
yeah, we can help you out. I can't help everyone, but I help a lot of people, and we can get you a little bit better. So
awesome.
Well, Tami, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure, and I'm looking forward to staying in touch and watching your journey, and then hopefully LPGA, 2027?
You know what? Let's go for it.
Okay.
Let's just mark it right here.
I like it. Well, thank you, Tami. We'll be in touch soon, and we'll
absolutely. Thanks so much, Joe.
Thank you.
Cheers.